Hey, it's your friend Troy CJ here, and I'm coming to you guys with my team builder for Week 5 of the UPC. We are going up against 681 Shadow, coach of the Connecticut Krookodiles. Go check him out. He does lots of Pokemon content on his channel. In addition to being in this league, he is the commissioner of CPC, and he is running their off-season at the moment before they get into Season 4. He also does anime reviews that are really cool. And yeah, so I recommend you check him out. Let's go ahead and take a look at his team. So he has Landorus Incarnate, Mew, Mega Altaria, Cobalion, Seismitoad, Rotom Heat, Salazzle, Togekiss, Gourgeist, Sneasel, and Miltank. He has a really solid team. Really solid. He has a lot of offensive potential between Altaria and Landorus and Salazzle, as well as a few sleepers. Like Togekiss is like really quite potent offensively, to be honest. And then he has like just the right bulk. Like Pokemon like Miltank and Gourgeist are just surprisingly difficult to deal with, and Seismitoad as well. Like I don't have a great way to deal with Seismitoad on the team. I mean, I have Tapu Bulu, but Tapu Bulu has a horrible matchup this week, in my opinion. So, had to leave that on the bench. So, we're definitely worried about a couple of threats. Sneasel is also really hard to deal with. I don't have great switch-ins for it. So, that's one thing that we're really just going to have to sort of play around. But I think I've got, even though his team is scary, I think I've got a pretty good matchup. I've got a couple of Mons that sort of hard counter, members of his team. Like I have the best Landorus eye counter in the game, being Latias, which is really nice. Excuse me. And Celesteela takes on Mega Altaria really well. Rhydon takes on Mega Altaria relatively well. I won't spoil too much of the details. I'll just go ahead and show you the team, and you guys can see for yourself. So we are bringing Latias, our Hellcat, this week with Ice Beam, Psychic, Roost, and Healing Wish. Put enough speed on here to outspeed Mega Altaria and Togekiss if they're max speed. Put a lot of HP investment into here, and then a little bit of mixed defense. The mixed defenses help us deal with Landorus really well. Gives us like the best chance of dodging a 3-hit KO from a max attack Life Orb. Hidden Power Ice. It allows us also to not take too much damage from knockoff. But yeah, Latias is one of the few Pokemon that can actually counter Landorus if it's holding its Mega Stone. And so Ice Beam and Psychic gives us pretty decent neutral coverage versus his team. The only thing it doesn't hit is Sneasel. So I'm going to have to play really carefully around that. Even with this spread, we take like 40% or 50% or so from Pursuit, which I'd like to avoid if possible. So we're going to have to sort of scout around for that. Like if we bring this in on a Landorus, we'll have to like try and double out. But I put Healing Wish as the last move on this thing because most of the Pokemon on my team don't have recovery, and I have some really solid defensive options that I'd love to keep around if possible. So we'll use the Healing Wish to heal them back up. And then Roost just for the longevity of our own Latias. Because if he doesn't bring the Sneasel, then Latias just hard counters so much on his team. Seismitoad can't do much to it. Rotom can't do much to it. Landorus can't do much to it. Gourgeist can't do much to it. The list goes on and on and on. So Latias was definitely a must-bring this week. Next up, we have Behemoth with an Aqua Berry, Leech Seed, Giga Drain, Earthquake, and Flash Cannon. Aqua Berry, in case he brings Fire Blast on Altaria, I'd love to be able to kind of lure that thing in. And it also gives us sort of a backup option versus, what's that thing called, Salazzle. I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure we live a +2 Flamethrower. If it's Timid, which I think it should be because it wants to outspeed the Zoroark and also the Manectric that I have. Giga Drain is there to hit the Seismitoad. We might not need it. But it's the only grass move I have on this team, so I just can't bring myself to bring zero coverage for Salazzle or for Seismitoad. Earthquake is to hit that Salazzle if we are able to lure it in. And then we're running Flash Cannon over Heavy Slam just in case he brings a, a Cotton Guard set. Cotton Guard would be really hard to deal with this Pokemon. So I think we get a 2-hit KO, or maybe we don't. I'm not sure. I might need to boost this special attack investment a little bit. I like having the little bit of a defense investment to handle Sneasel a little bit. And Flash Cannon does do like 83% or something like that to Sneasel if it's Life Orb, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll have to look into that. But yeah, Flash Cannon just seems better than Heavy Slam in case he did run Cotton Guard. Next up, we have Dremel, the Rhydon with Stealth Rock, Stone Edge, Earthquake, and Toxic. This investment here, like I could have gone with a Careful Nature, but with this investment, we live the combination of Stealth Rock, Flamethrower, and Hidden Power Grass from Salazzle. I don't know if he's going to pack Hidden Power Grass or not. Maybe like a Hidden Power Water probably is his best bet because it hits both Rhydon and Marowak. But in any case, we do live that combination, and we can obviously kill it back with an Earthquake. Rhydon is pretty nice versus the rest of his team as well. It's a nice check for Togekiss if it's not packing Grass Knot. I can switch in easily on Altaria. Like, even an Earthquake isn't going to do that much to me just because I'm so naturally bulky defensively. I was thinking about running a coverage move for Altaria, but the best coverage move that I have is Poison Jab, and it's base 80, and then after super effective damage it goes to 160. But my Earthquake is 100 with 1.5 times stab boost, gets to 150. So the difference between 150 and 160 wasn't that big for me. Like, it didn't seem worth it. And then I could have run Iron Tail, but then I'm playing with chances to miss, and it just doesn't seem worth it. So rather than do anything like that, I figured I would put Toxic on. Another move I was considering was Mega Horn to potentially hit Mew, but Rhydon isn't really the Pokemon that I want to bring in on Mew. To be honest, I don't want to bring anything in on Mew. Mew is scary. We'll have to figure out how best to deal with it. I kind of need to just nuke it with something like Marowak or Zoroark. But yeah, that is the Rhydon set. Checks a lot of his Pokemon and just does well versus... There's also a great Rotom check, which is nice. And Latios also checks Rotom really well. So that's a Pokemon that I don't expect to come just because I have multiple ways to deal with it. Next up, we have Marowak with a Thick Club with the moves Flare Blitz, Shadow Bone, Earthquake, and Will-O-Wisp. Marowak is definitely a threat versus him. And we put just enough speed on this thing to outspeed a 0-speed Gourgeist Super. And we did the same thing with our Celesteela, even though we're a minus speed nature. I didn't want to go like minus attack or anything, or minus special attack. I guess I could go minus attack here, because Earthquake's going to kill the thing anyway. Yeah, let's do that. That seems better. And then we don't need these EVs. And we can put these 24 into something different. So let's just put those into special attack. And I might tweak this a little bit in between now and the time that I battle, because I'm actually recording this kind of far in advance. But that's besides the point. But anyway, Flare Blitz and Shadow Bone and Earthquake does really, really well versus his team. Earthquake is just to hit the Salazzle. This is a nice check for Salazzle that isn't packing Hidden Power Water. But this EV spread does allow me to live a +2 to Midlife Orb Hidden Power Water. If I need to. And then what else was I going to say? Yeah, just like this Pokemon switches in really well to Rotom, Heat, switches in well to Gourgeist, switches in well to Miltank. Because if we can burn it, then it's not going to be doing a lot of damage with stuff like Earthquake. It already can't hit us with Body Slam. Although I guess never mind. I forget what I was about to say. And yeah, so it just does nice work versus his team. And it's also a decent check to Altaria that is not packing Earthquake. Like if it's a special Altaria or something like that, Marowak takes it on pretty well. You know, something like Hyper Voice is still going to hurt quite a bit, but Shadow Bone is going to hurt that thing too. So, felt like a good bring. And even though we're not Adamant Nature, we hit pretty hard with the Thick Club. It gets to a 428 attack stat, which I think is higher than Adamant Azumarill, so that's nice. Okay, then next we have Gregor with an offensive set of Bullet Punch, Close Combat, Ice Punch, and Rapid Spin. So this Pokemon's actually quite useful. Bullet Punch is just really nifty versus Shadow's team, because it does massive damage to Sneasel, massive damage to Altaria, massive damage to Togekiss, and you know, we can use it to hit a Landorus if we need for just a little bit of chip. Same with Mew, and so on and so forth. Well, don't mind me as my phone's vibrating. We can use this to smack Altaria. We can use this, not Altaria, Cobalion. Like, I don't really want to take too many hits from Cobalion, but if we're at full health and it's you know, sitting in front of us, we can bop it with a Close Combat. And it's also, I guess the main reason it's here, you know, in addition to all those other things, is to hit Miltank, which I don't have a great way to deal with otherwise. Speaking of which, my Rhydon's also a great check for Miltank. So, yeah, Bullet Punch, Close Combat, the most important moves. Rapid Spin, I don't... It's kind of funny, like, this is, like, maybe the first or second time since Sun and Moon's come out that I've brought hazard removal to a game. I just tend not to worry about it. In this game, I thought it was kind of important because, again, none of my Pokemon have recovery, so I don't want them to be taking any chip damage if I can help it. And then Ice Punch is there for potentially Gourgeist mainly, and if we need to hit Togekiss with a stronger move than just Bullet Punch. So that's why we packed that. You know, I guess it can also hit Landorus on switch in, but I think Earth Power from Landorus is going to OHKO us, so it doesn't really matter. Then last but not least, we have Animagus, the Zoroark, packing relatively normal set with Dark Pulse, Sludge Bomb, Focus Blast, and Hidden Power Ice. Zoroark I thought was really important for revenge killing Mew, assuming that it's not a agility, or I guess it doesn't technically get agility, but it gets Rock Polish. And I think it gets, does it get like Flame Charge? I don't know. But as long as it's not speed boosted, we can smack it with a big Dark Pulse. And then otherwise, this Pokemon has great offensive coverage versus his team. Sludge Bomb can hit Altaria and Togekiss. Focus Blast can hit Cobalion. And Hidden Power Ice is just there for the Landorus. Excuse me. So yeah, I just want this because I want a strong, super effective stab option for Mew. Because I don't deal with it well otherwise. And plus this can outspeed Mew. It outspeeds a lot of his team. I guess it doesn't outspeed Cobalion, but Marowak is a great switch in for that. And Celesteela is not too bad, and Latios isn't too bad. And that's the other reason, so this is a little bit like going off topic, but like, or revisiting a previous topic, but another reason I brought Rapid Spin on here is because like my bulk just deals with him so well. That maybe one of his ways to beat me is, well, I don't think he has spikes on his team. No, I don't think he does. I was gonna say, like, if you wanted to bring spikes versus me, that'd be a great way to wear my team down, but he doesn't have spikes, so that's less true, but I still don't want the rocks getting up. But yeah, like, he's gonna have to sort of, I think his best way to break through my bulk, like, he has great wall breakers, obviously, but I just happen to have, like, some of the best counters to his wall breakers. So I think he sort of has to, like, slowly wear me down with hazards and status and things like that. So Rapid Spin helps alleviate that, and that's also, you know, Healing Wish can help with that. But anyway, so yeah, like, this can outspeed a lot of his threats, I guess, to revisit my original point, especially Mew. And if he wants to bring in something like Cobalion, which threatens this thing, or what else threatens this thing? Not a lot. Like Togekiss, I guess if it's Scarf and has Dazzling Gleam, it threatens this. I have really safe switch-ins to all of those things, so I'm not that worried about this thing getting revenged. I have great switch-ins. So okay, it's already been a pretty long team builder, so I'll go ahead and sign off. Make sure you check out this battle. It's going up tomorrow, and as I mentioned, make sure you check out Shadow's channel. That's gonna do it for me. Thank you for watching, and until the next time, I will see you guys later.